Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Objection Crime Chatter. We were on a bit of a little hiatus there for a second, but we are back now with some more updates on Inmate 214. And we have yours truly, DFJ, joining us today. So we can, um,
Can
I
you
have
hear me?
YouTube up. Yeah, I was echoing because I had YouTube up. Sorry about that, y'all. How you doing tonight?
Good. How are you, CJ? It's been a while.
Yeah, I'm doing good, and I appreciate the slides. Getting all that together for the show tonight because there was a lot of info out there. I mean, it's a big update. It's been a couple weeks since we've been on hiatus on the show. Hey, chat. Hey, everyone. Hey, Leanne. Hey, Christina. Hey, Laura. Hey, Kenny. How are
Hey.
y'all doing tonight? Um, it's been a while since we've done the show because the last time we did it, it was Coburger too, right? Pretty sure that was the last time we did.
No, I think we did Crystal McCrory.
Was that the last crime chatter?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it was Crystal.
Hmm.
Um,
Which, by the way, maybe we could do a follow up for that because I still want to do a letter, another round of a letter campaign. Um, God, that story just that
and we
story
missed a lot. There was a lot still in the evidence folder that later on we
that we saw after. Yeah.
saw after. Yeah, so yeah, definitely we could definitely circle back. I still have the playlist for anyone that wants to also catch up. We had a playlist for her story as well, and then we have the video. But today we're talking about Inmate 214, Cry
Mhm.
Me a River, because he has,
Some complaints.
yeah, he's been complaining from inside the jail. So, chat, if you guys have already seen the text messages, or not text messages, but
Complaints.
the complaints he filed to the jail, let us know in the chat if you guys have already seen it. We are going to go over it briefly, but we won't get as in depth if you guys have already looked into them and read them and everything like that.
Yeah, if you guys have already, because I know they came out, I want to say last week or something, all the different complaints, and so we have copies of those, but we also have a lot of other good stuff too. So,
Yeah, let us know if you want us to go over all that if you haven't seen it yet, or if you have, and we can get through them quicker. But yeah, so we have that. Also, the body cam footage came out, and we have some thoughts on that. I mean,
yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts on that. With the body cam footage and the two surviving roommates, Dylan and Bethany. So we're going to get into that. And then also, I think just yesterday, one of his teachers came forward
Mm.
that he TA'd for, which is such a strange story. And the way that it's not even a journalist who got the scoop. It's just like his friend that he'd go out for drinks with. And so he'd go out for drinks with this professor that he knew that lived in the town. And then one day he came in for drinks and was like, that TA guy that I always complained about? He's the one who did the unaliving of the college students, and so he gave him the exclusive, and then he came out and did this report. So he's not even. I don't believe he's a journalist. I don't think he is. He just gave the story and of
Oh,
what he
so
was told.
when you told me about the teacher, so I had my slide was from something else. So we have two. We'll have that one, and then because then also another teacher of his came out and said, or he said he thought that he was going to be a serial artist. I don't think. Yeah, the R word. Yeah. So, anyways, that's we're just jumping ahead. Do you want to?
Yep. Let's go ahead and get into the slides here.
And I just want to say hi to everyone. Everyone just said hi.
Yeah.
Lena said she has the song stuck in her head, "Cry Me a River." Oh yeah, and then the tagline. Because remember during the sentencing, Kaylee's other sister had her mom read the quote, and it said, "In schools you got A's, but in prison you'll get big D's."
And he's already complaining. I mean, and there's people who are saying that it's only going to get worse because snitches get stitches. And so the fact that, he went out and said something, word's going to get around. These people, they have iPads, they have TVs. So all these articles that are coming out, all these shows that this is being shown on, the prisoners will know. The prisoners will know that, he's putting in these complaints. And so it makes him more vulnerable. It makes him look weak. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes him look exactly. it makes him look weak. And we have a slide about that. The guy who sent him the book. We'll get to.
So we're going to start with this clip. Our favorite, Megyn Kelly. We love her. She does not mince words.
And I love
her. I don't know if you love her. I'm speaking for both of us.
I love her, but I love this prosecutor, this guy who was a guest. His commentary on this case has been so good. He is not a fan of the prosecutor for Moscow, or was it not Moscow, but yeah, for this case. But
let me go ahead and start, and I'll put our pictures down there so they can see it bigger. Uh-oh, what happened?
You skipped a slide, so go back and then press play.
It just goes to the next one. Did we test it?
Go back again. Is it not in? So go here. Let me just send you the link one more time. We tested
it right before we got on. We're like, we're going to test it.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm going to send it this one.
Oh, no, it's not working. Okay.
Hold on. I'm sending it right now to the private chat. So just do it from there. See it?
Yep.
Matt, because we were critical of the prosecutor for saying that. And now here's one of the victim's fathers saying that they did find so-called choke porn on his phone.
Well, you and I called that, Megyn. If you remember the last time, I guaranteed to you that we were going to find pornography, or that the word was going to come out about that. And lo and behold, if that's accurate, and it's a little bit of a telephone game here, because you got the detective to the dad saying that he found that, but he hasn't seen it. But of course he did. And that aligns with every case like this that Mark and I have ever done. Certainly, there's almost always porn on the computers. So. And yeah, the prosecutor, I've got a lot of problems. I got a problem with his media tour right now, where he's talking about how, what was the quote? Sorry, I got notes here.
We
had
did
the opportunity
our job
to do it in a way. Yeah, to really give some immediate finality. We're pleased and relieved that the community and the victims' families aren't going to have to live through this. You know, that's pretty tone deaf. The families never get over this. And, you know, it's like, that applies to every single murder case. So it's like, what is do we just give everybody a deal now so you don't put the family through the case? And by the way, having watched Olivia Gonzalez, that woman, when she ripped into Kohberger, I guarantee was not afraid of the process or facing Kohberger in the penalty phase. And it's like, and this is crass, so I hate to say this, but if I'm allowed to swear, I keep thinking of Dave Chappelle's quote. You know, yeah, we could do it that way, Mr. Prosecutor. We could just give everybody a friggin' deal, or you could shut the fuck up, because you are undermining I think the integrity of a lot of death penalty cases in the 27 states and the federal system that still have it, by essentially, you've got this example that everybody's heard of. If the death penalty does not apply to Brian Kohberger, who does it apply to?
Very interesting, Matt, because we were critical of the prosecutor for saying that.
So
and now here's one of the victim's fathers saying that they did find so-called choke porn.
Latah County, that's what it was. I kept saying, yeah, Latah County prosecutor, he's not a fan of. But I just thought that was so well done, I thought.
Okay, did I accidentally? Okay, I got to reshare the slides. But yeah, that was so well done. And I love it, like at the very end, because he's like, dude, I did like that guy at the end.
Yeah, and he's like, you know, I just thought it was well said, because he's like, you know, these families that showed up to court, they weren't scared of the process. And it's true. The Latah County DA is like just giving himself a pat on the back and saying, like, you know, we made a deal because it was so good for the family. But anyone who has followed me and you talking about the case, there was definitely a lot of things I think they were scared of for this to go to court. Like, you know, the refrigerator with all that DNA evidence going out, and just the whole process. But this was another good thing on that note. And what's her name? Anjanette Levy from Long Crime was a guest on the interview room. So it's like worlds colliding. And I thought this was a good point, how they were talking about just how, like, you know, with Florida, they have those sunshine laws. So we get to hear everything about cases there. Like with the Maddie Soto case, like we know, we've already seen all the records about Stephen Stearns and what like a pervert and terrible person he was. And so like, he's kind of old news now, but because they keep like putting the lid, and they're only releasing certain things about Koberger or 214, he's still like such a big talking point. And it's like, if they had been honest and just said he's a pervert, this was like SA motivated, and like, even though that didn't happen, like his whole phone is a different story. If they had just came out and said what it was, I think it, like the public would have a different reaction. So anyways.
And especially now, one of the other things that I just wanted to piggyback off that is, if they had never had the gag order in the beginning, like I get it, it was going to trial and stuff, but withholding all that information, it's still making him more infamous now, because look at all the information that's now coming out even after, all this is going on. It's like his story is still being told and told. Whereas if they had just been up front in the beginning, and you know how they were like, oh, this wasn't targeted, or oh, no one's in danger, when that's still my Roman Empire, that how did we know he wasn't in danger? Because they didn't know it was him until later.
Yeah.
So how did they know that nobody else, that he wouldn't have gone to go do it again?
And the profile of like the nature behind his motivations for what he did, it's like fantasy motivated, and it's very, he idolized Ted Bundy, and
he was still going to his last school. He was still going to his last school after the murders with females that he was making feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and he did this, he didn't pull it off like as well as he wanted to. So he most likely would have done this again. And they're like, oh, it's not targeted, they said it was targeted, right?
Yeah, they said it was targeted and that no one was in danger.
No one's in danger. And it's actually everyone was in danger. Are you crazy? It's so scary when you think about it. And I definitely recommend, if this is something you're interested in, to watch like that, this whole stream. We're just going to show a clip of it that I thought was interesting. But like, there's another interesting point too. Like you said, how he went back to school, and if he hadn't gotten in trouble and like got, disciplined and like not part of his like TA position,
got his scholarship taken away. Yeah.
If he hadn't though, because that department was like they were getting info and researching this case. So he would have been like in the loop for knowing what the investigation was going on for this case. Like, how bizarre and like crazy is that?
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So let's go ahead and play this little piece here as we move into
and
behind there.
Physically shut it off. And that shuts everything down, all the signal, everything. I mean, it's over at that point. And that's where the gaps of, the investigation, they were having problems, because, they were seeing it, and then post homicide, next thing you know, it lit up, and so did a lot of his searches. And one of the things, I have to be honest, that bothered me is CNN had Gilbertson, the lieutenant, in the interview, and they asked him, well, what was on his phone? How did he answer it? Well, he had pictures of, we know he was following the investigation. No, that's not how you answer the question. You answer the question by, he had a tremendous amount of sadistic, inappropriate material on his phone that we recovered. Okay. And when I hear stuff like that, the integrity of the investigation now comes to always to the top of the shelf. Because why aren't you just saying it the way it is? It's over, you move on, you pull the Band-Aid off, everybody goes back to school, everybody's safe. But they're now dripping these reports out, piece by piece by piece. And then, on the other side, they're like, well, we're trying to control rumors and all that. Well, that's how the rumors start. Yeah. Just give the public what they want. It's over. In the 30s, the reporter would run right up in your face and with a flash bulb and take your picture, and then lean over the dead guy and take a photograph of that. It's been going on forever. Just accept it and you move on. And if you want to hear two things that are correlating, listen to the jail phone calls from Stephen Stearns in Florida. Mommy, you haven't done anything. Mommy, you have not done anything. You understand me? Expect that in the wind in the near future. The second piece of that is the sunshine laws of Florida. Who's talking about Stefan Stearns? Just me tonight for about 2 minutes because he's a has-been. He's gone. Goodbye. Aloha. See you in the joint. Okay. It's over. If that city, that community embraces that principle, guess what? The victims, the families, and everybody can rest in peace. It's not about moving on for the community. It's about a family sitting at home reading a report that says their daughter's name, Kaylee, I'm here to help you. When a month ago, her name wasn't in that report, but today she is. That is re-victimizing the victims. It needs to be put into the public arena. The Band-Aid needs to be pulled off, and people need to move on. Why do I say that? Because I've worked 300 murders in my career, and I've sat with hundreds of families. They need closure. Make it happen.
Kind of asked about the working theory.
So that was pretty intense. And I mean, he looked straight at the camera there as he's saying the ending of it. He's like, make it happen. And he's correct, because we were under the impression, the public, and I know DFJ said that the media got it wrong, but now we don't know. There's so much misinformation because the reports say something else than what the media was saying. And then, DFJ says just...
No, I'm here. I was just testing to see something.
I didn't know I was like, is that private chat? No, you can see the chat from your chat and our chat.
I know. I don't think I had made mine live, and now it's live.
Yeah, no, you're live. I think Khaleesi's over there helping you with the algorithm over there. So you'll see like the little link from people in your chat, I think. But yeah, no, like we were under the impression that it was Xana, right? That Xana was the one that said, I'm here to help you, Xana. And now they're saying that it was Kaylee. You're saying it's a typo, right? Like that.
No, it was. It was misreported because in the actual police report, it doesn't say.
It says Kaylee. It says Kaylee in the actual police report.
No. In the police report, it doesn't say a name.
No, it does. It says Kaylee, I'm here to help you, from Dylan's. There's an interview that Dylan did where she says that he tells Kaylee, that he says her name, Kaylee, I'm here to help you.
See, I thought that they said it was in the reports, that it was how it came out in the media. The media got that wrong because they read the report wrong, but that the I'm here to help you wasn't necessarily for Kaylee, because it sounded like he said it to Xana because it was when he ran down the stairs or whatever. But
yeah, but it could have also been because Dylan thought that Kaylee was Xana, and we'll get into her testimony. So part of the reason why even we're discussing it like this, like, wait, which one was it? Is because the information was leaked out in this way. Like the documents aren't all fully there. I know for Dylan, we have 2 of the interviews, but I think there's one more missing, her grand jury testimony. Probably, I don't know if that gets put out or what, but it's, contradicting. And as it leaks out, some of it doesn't make sense. And we'll get into whether it's just, the shock and the people who write down the report, because at one point, remember, they said Kaylee was in the bottom room with Ethan, and it wasn't Kaylee, it was Xana.
A lot of the police report, got a lot of the...
And these were young policemen. I realized when I looked at the body cam footage, Officer Nunez was only 22 years old.
Yeah, he's the same age as the girls. And like, it's just... They definitely were not prepared at all for what they saw that day. And so I think it was just kind of overwhelming. You can see him like go in and out and taking out different like piece of paper and then trying to like tell because there's so many things they have to write down. And then he was like trying to tell it back to that supervisor or chief or whoever showed up, or the captain. And like, he couldn't even like find that quote about the, I'm here to help you.
Yeah, I don't think the police department was prepared for this. No. We'll see a little bit of it on the body cam, because we're going to play a little bit of the body cam for you guys.
But I do think what they were saying here was so just, I thought it was so important just in general for these cases. Like this like slow drip of information helps no one, and especially just doesn't help the victim's family. And like it makes everything just feel so dragged out. And I think the university was part of the reason that they try to keep things so contained. But it's like, you know, and I think Jane also said it too. It's like, just rip the Band-Aid off, get it all out there so everyone can just digest it at once. And at least we can see the full picture, because when you do it slow like this, it's just,
you can't compare. And then you're trying to go back and compare different documents. And that's where like the rumors and the, you know, fuel for, you know, the pro burgers starts, because they take these inconsistencies and then they blow them up to be, you know, nefarious, when really they're just inconsistencies from either, you know, bad police reporting due to the paperwork, or like in Dylan's case that, you know, we're saying it's shock. But what I'm saying is, if we got all of it all together, all at the same time, then we could see like, okay, this is how it all happened.
And to know that, I think that like it was a big failure to not say that he was like really into SA with like dead and unconscious women. Like, I think that would have been very important to let the public know, so they knew this was like a bad person. He had like he wanted to like dominate people, and when they were unconscious and couldn't consent, just like that this guy was twisted.
And
so
he was a danger to his own family too. Like, I would be like, I don't know. I just feel like he could have been a danger to anybody.
I don't think he's a danger to his family, because if you go on the stream, I really recommend you guys like watch the stream that we just played. Anjanette Levy said she thinks that the family operated like a cult, because you'll see eventually. I don't know if we're going to show it here, but I think tonight they're going to talk about it on the interview room. But he calls his parents all the time. And when like his mom doesn't answer, he asks his dad, why isn't, and he doesn't call them mom and dad. He calls them mother and father. Mother, why isn't father answering? Father, where's mother? Like, it's very Norman Bates. Like, it's very interesting.
Yeah. So this is where we got the slides, or, you know, for the next few slides came from this Law and Crime YouTube, and I'll link it in the description when we get done, so that you guys can go back if you guys want to go back to it. So we're getting into the part with co-burgers complaining. And so I didn't see anybody in the chat that's already seen these, so we're just going to go ahead and read through them.
Well, this one's really quick. This one was just that he said his JPay wasn't working. And then wait, did you skip the slide where it said that he has this one.
It was before it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, he wants to speak to the manager. So this is like literally like he's just got to jail, and I think he thinks he's at the holiday or at like the Four Seasons or something. But yeah,
he's got his little shoes like all lined up. This is when he was at the
medical,
the Lata jail. I don't think this is in the prison.
They said it was like the medical evaluation intake or something. So it was like a bigger room. And this was a leak. Someone like filmed the security footage with their phone, and then release it. Yeah, so that's going to get investigated, I'm pretty sure. But
the little shoes right there, like, okay, organized. But we did find out that he had OCD, remember?
Well, okay. Yes and no. Mercado breaks this down really good. He says that it's part of like the makeup of these like people who have this like guilt around like sex stuff. And like that when he obsessively washes his hands, it has to do with like association with like his guilt with his like pleasuring himself.
Oh,
but not everyone who's obsessed with washing their hands has his same obsession. But it goes hand in like with his makeup of all the different characteristics, you know, and they've studied these serial killers for years and whatnot, and what they've learned of him and how he operates with his family and all these weird things. But he says it's like a direct connection, and they've seen this before.
Okay, so this one, he said his JPay wasn't working. Over here, he's like, I didn't receive my lunch despite inquiring. Although I understand that that it's hectic up here, it was never communicated to me that I would be unable to receive a new bag. The next shift was not aware of this either. So not only, this is my theory, so obviously I have my little thing allegedly for entertainment purposes, but my theory is that the guards are probably in on it too. Like the inmates don't like him, and the guards probably don't like him. He murdered 4 kids in cold blood.
Mhm.
Yeah, of course your lunch is going to be missing. Like they're not trying to treat you all good. Like, oops.
And do you remember like on our other stream about him? And I said this because I was like really, researching all this stuff. And I had watched on another stream where they actually had former inmates of this prison. And they said, even if they're segregated, there's ways to get to them. And the first thing they said is the food. They can get to them through the food. So like, and remember, he has a special menu. He's vegan. So they know. I mean, how many vegans do you think are in his on his block? Probably not many. So I'm sure they mess with his food. They accidentally leave off some of the stuff. And
I love Khaleesi because in our Donna Adelson chat, that was you, Khaleesi, wasn't it? That you're like, I don't be criming, and we were gonna do merch of criming. She's like, don't do crime. I'm pretty sure in the Donna Adelson, we had some fun with that. It's like, I don't know how people be criming because that case, she talked to her son on a jail phone call and like confessed everything. Like, I'm gonna go to a place where I can't get extradited, and like, and I think Khaleesi was like, oh wait, they record the jail phone calls, because I was like, everybody knows. She's like, I don't.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, he is vegan. Khaleesi,
and they think that's also part of his like control, things. It's not about liking animals or anything. It was because of his diet. He was like, he used to be fat, and then he was like, obsessive about what he eats, and it's just another way for him to control things. So, as a vegan, I have no respect for him. I think he just does it. He does it for ways to just control things.
So there, he's just like complaining. He's like, "Mommy, I don't got a lunch." But I honestly think it's just the guards messing with him, because then over here.
Go back, because look at this part. In the future, I wish to receive my lunch without exception. This could be accomplished sending for the replacements as rapidly as possible. I'm sorry, where do you think you are that this jail is going to send you something as rapidly as possible? Like, and I know at some point he like quotes the handbook for the jail or something, and it's like all of the in the handbook at the jail has exceptions for everything. It's like at the, availability of this, or like at the most, So yeah, you are supposed to get your 3 meals a day, but not as quickly as possible. What is he?
And I mean, I don't know. I've seen like guards do other crazy stuff in other cases. So that's why it's my instinct that they're just like, oops, I forgot your lunch. Oops, you didn't get it for today. I guess you're not eating. Like, they don't have to, like, there's ways that they can get to the people too. And it's known. It's like a known thing. But
he's in jail. He's in jail. Like, where does he think he is? Even if you're at somewhere nice, when are you going to be like, send me, you forgot this, send me, like, even at a nice restaurant, you're going to be like, I want this as quickly as possible.
Like, have you never watched Prison Break? Like, remember what the guards did in that show? Like, it's crazy. Like, they will.
But, this is how he talks to his parents. And you'll see, like, because we're going to get to the phone.
And I love this clap back from the captain, whoever you are. Shout out to Captain B. Crowell for this, because he claps back. So here Brian's like, as I continue the SPI phase, I wish to discuss if I may be transferred to another setting as other than B block. Or no, he wants to go to B block. He's in J block right now.
B block is where
Chad Daybell. Yeah. He wants to keep a lot of the death row inmates, so it is more dangerous because they don't have anything to lose. They're already on death row.
Yeah, but it's like, why? But then why did he make a plea deal to, like, if you wanted to be on death row so bad? We could have been there. Like, I would have happily had a trial and had you sent to death row. You made a plea deal not to be on death row.
Not engaging in any of the recent flooding, striking, as well as being subject to minute-by-minute verbal threats and harassment on that and other bases. So he's like, J block is an environment that I wish to transfer from. If possible, I request transfer to B block immediately. I wish to speak with you soon. And he claps back. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. Mr. Koberger, on any tier at IMSI, there are sometimes disruptions to operations, such as residents flooding. On J2, it is relatively rare occurrence, and J2 is generally a fairly calm and quieter tier. He basically is like, oh, you want to go to another one? This is considered calm for J.
Yeah.
Okay?
And it's like the audacity. It's like, you murdered 4 people in cold blood, and you're complaining about verbal threats. Are you out of your mind? Like, you're in jail.
I
And
do not think. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
I do not think that B Block would be any better for you. And then this is my favorite. Like, I wanted to give him a standing ovation. Give it some time. Like, I love that part. Give it some time.
CJ, you should move our little picture so we're not in the screen with the words.
Okay. Let me
Maybe
do
like
that.
on the side.
Yeah, we'll do that. I was just trying to make it bigger, but on these ones where you have to read, I think this will be better.
So, and this is all recent, as you can see, like down there, that was on 8/1. So it was, that he complained. It was a day later, like he got a response. So he's having a great month. I couldn't be happier for him with what is happening. And we'll get to also this on another slide, but here, this is where he is in here.
Those are the cages where they can use the phones, and then each inmate is in there. But they can talk. The reason why you can hear them, even though there's like a door, is because all the vents are connected, and so they scream at Koberger through the vents.
Yeah, and this we or I don't know if I'm saying their name right, but they said J Block can house 128. I'm sure they'll get right on his dietary concerns. And I don't even think it's the dietary. It's just like he didn't get his complete lunch or a complete meal, because I'm telling you, like, the inmates, even if you're segregated, that's how they can mess with you. Like, there's a crew working the kitchen. They know who you are. They know where this is going. So they should leave off half of your meal. Oh, well.
Yeah, wrathful. But I think the solitary and the death row, it's like the same floor section. So they're not like quite together, but it's the same floor or section, because that's what I've been reading, is that he's in J Block is for solitary and death row inmates. So I don't know if
death row is a different wing.
I'm pretty sure I had read that it was that floor had both death row and
they could have death row inmates but like the death row wing, the B Block, whatever he wants to be moved to, is where Chad is a different wing.
Oh, okay.
It's not with this, because in that one, they see how right here, I don't know if you guys can see that guy sitting in the cage where he's out of his cell. For the B Block one, they are all allowed to come out together. So like they actually play games and interact with each other. But here where he is on this J Block, no. Everyone they're separated 23 hours a day. They can go outside, and I don't know exactly that there's separate cages. So maybe if they know some people won't kill each other, they go in the same cage. But he'll never be around any other inmates. He will always be separated.
He says if they go into general pop, someone will want to make a name of him. But then because it's like a death penalty state, a lot of people said that the inmates, unless they're already on death row, that no one will go after him because they don't want to, go on death row or whatever. But like DFJ said, he probably won't be in gen pop at any time soon.
No, he won't.
So let's go on to the next one. I think it's his other dietary, his juice box. Yeah, there's so many memes on this, and I should have put one up because there's so many funny memes, like with the little juice boxes and stuff. I mean, people are crazy on Reddit, but I haven't
seen any of those.
You haven't seen the memes?
I don't go on. I don't really use Reddit, so I didn't.
Yeah, there's like, have you seen my? No, there's one where the stapler guy from Office Space, and it's like, have you seen my juice box instead of the stapler? I have on several occasions not received all items of food on my tray. I addressed this during service and have yet to receive any replacements. In fact, the kitchen is not even called. The policy book, this is where he's like, the policy book.
Yeah, the policy book? Where does he think he is?
Confirmed items are missing, which are pointed out at the time of service that they'll be replaced. I wish to, without exception, receive these replacements.
Can you believe the way he's talking to these people? Like, he has no clue. He has no clue. You do not talk to the guards who have control over you like this. This is ridiculous.
So he's also like burning bridges with the guards for tattling on them too. I wish for the items to be called for and items replaced when this occurs. The nutritional standard is not being upheld unless I receive my full tray. And so there was people calling him fruit cup in the Reddit chat.
Well,
like,
okay, because a lot of
it's fruit cup.
So a lot of these like tray lunches come with like a milk or something. So I guess, he gets a juice box and he hasn't gotten his juice box, but that's what I'm saying. And I get that you think it's the guards. Honest to God, I don't think it's the guards. I think it's the inmates. And I'll tell you why, because we'll get there when we get to the slide with the The guy
But
who
I mean, does the food go through the inmates? I just feel like
why? Because the inmates
whoever
work the
gives them the
kitchen.
food, it could be the dang lunch lady. Like, I ain't giving you this on a tray.
No,
You ordered
it's
4
not a
kids.
lunch lady. It's the inmates work the
Oh, the inmates work the cafeteria. Okay.
yeah. The ones who are allowed to like be around other people.
But then when he asked the guards don't bring him nothing back. So at one point, the guards are complicit.
Well, because the guard is not going to go to the kitchen. The guard has to stay there. You think because it's not an emergency. The guard, like they said, they're dealing with the flooding. They're making sure these prisoners don't actually like kill each other or flood anything or escape or do anything like contraband or anything. Making sure they stay alive, don't kill themselves or, you know, they have a real job to do instead of being like, oh, okay, 214 didn't get his juice box.
Well, I don't even know. I thought it said juice box in here. Maybe it was just Reddit saying, because I was like, did he say fruit cup and juice box? But I didn't see those two specified, but those were the two. So I wonder if there's another one that specifies, or was that the last one? No, I think that was the last one. Okay, so this is another summary incident. This is where he snitches out the other inmates. It says there's been threats and harassment escalating to overt violence, threats, statements. Lieutenant Matlin received a concern form on August 4th and conducted an interview with 214 in J Block. 214 stated a resident that goes by Peru told him all, and then this is redacted, but there was an unredacted part of it.
Well, you can guess what it says.
Yeah, it was basically, yeah, he wanted a, Koberger also stated an unknown resident from Tier 1 of J Block said the only we'll be eating is Kobergers. So they were basically wanting to make him his.
And like, this is honestly, it's not that bad. I mean, they're yelling stuff at him. He killed 4 people, 4 kids, college kids. He's like right above the ring, like of the worst prisoners, like would be when you hurt like children and women. And then
and they said that the prisoners would consider him children because, or like kids, like how they're always like women or kids, you get more like scrutiny. And it's because they were college kids, like they were barely of age. So that's why it's not like, oh, you just killed an adult. It's like, no, you killed 3 women who were in college and a guy who was just in college of age.
Yeah. And they were sleeping, like this was the middle of the night. Like you are the worst, wimpiest, cowardice. That's not even a word, but whatever. The most like coward of a criminal. Like you're too weak for even this prison. They're saying like you're even below us.
So the officer was working B night, so the interview could not be conducted. Then it says he submitted an information report outlining his involvement in the incident, and he did recall vulgar language and directed towards 214, but could not identify who said what. So the guard wasn't about to be snitching. The officer wasn't about to be snitching on Peru. He was just like, I don't know who said it. The allegation is substantiated, but due to no aggressor being positively identified, and 214 saying he fails to remain in J Block, no further actions were taken. So this is the 7th. What was the date on the other one?
It was the 30th. He's been complaining like
the 1st. So by the 7th, he was like, okay. Once he told them this isn't this bad, he's like, okay, never mind, I feel safe. So because on the 3rd before he got the reply back. And then this is
so, because he said that he was getting threats and all this stuff. And so they did like their investigative report, their summary. And because it got back to the news, because all these complaints, because people did their FOIA requests and got copies of those things. So they did a formal report and they're basically, said everything they went over and they didn't find anything. What did they find, CJ?
It says the reason for the hearing is that 214 is being referred to administrative segregation for the protection of staff and residents, as well as for his own protection. He understands the logic of his placement in administrative segregation. He originally wanted the protective custody route, but due to his exposure in the media, sees that protective custody is not an option right now. Believes any harassment he has received from the other residents will die down once the media coverage slows. Is hopeful he can one day just have recreation with others and just live with others like him, just like another high-profile resident on J2 does. Is he talking about Daybell, or is Daybell on death row?
Well, Daybell's on death row.
Okay. I wonder who the other high-profile resident on J2 is. Who else is in Idaho? At the bottom, he says he wants to be with others like him, just like another high-profile resident who's on J2. Let me see if I can zoom.
Well, I don't know what he's talking about.
I'm gonna have to sleuth who that
Or
high-profile.
I think they're saying like just like as if he was another high-profile resident.
Maybe wants to work and be productive eventually. Requested that he continue to
He's
have
never going to get that. He's never.
and
They're
be
never.
escorted alone at this time.
He's one of the most high-profile people there to off. Like, he's not going to be around.
Other
He's
people.
not going to be around other people. Not for a long time.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But the way I'm reading it is he's saying it just like another high-profile resident on J2 does.
Because I think he's just saying that. I mean, there might be another one. I think there actually maybe is another one I heard about. But either way, it doesn't matter. He is the most high-profile person there. So that's why I think he's referring to himself. He wants to be just another high-profile resident on J2.
Okay.
He thinks very, very, very highly of himself.
Because he's in J1 though. That's what I'm saying. He's in J1, so he's saying someone's in J2. That's I don't know. We'll have to sleuth it out who he's referring to.
Okay, so maybe it is someone else, and maybe I have it wrong. I just think he's feels so.
No, here my like Roman Empire is now going to be like. Hopefully, one day I can have recreation with others, like he's in like school and he wants to go out to the playground with the other kids, and he's in detention. Like, no.
But we'll get to his phone in a bit, and he only had 16 contacts in his phone, and 5 of them were his immediate family.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, I mean, he doesn't play well with others. Okay, so this is really funny, and this is like remember I put the link to the stream where I got those images of the reports we just read. So on that same stream, they have this guy, Larry Levine, and he used to be in prison. He's been in like 7 prisons or something, and he wrote Prison Politics 101, and he sent a copy of this to 214. And so he was like, they had him interview on that stream, and he's like, yeah, he's like, he obviously didn't read my book. If he read my book, I told him exactly how to deal with these situations, and what he's doing is the exact opposite of what he should be doing. And then he said, he's like, I can guarantee you, he's like, they have shifts in there. So like the different inmates like on his block where he is, he's like, I guarantee they have shifts for how they're hollering to keep him up, and they'll do it so that it's like nonstop. And he's like, but you're in jail. That's what happens. Like, you did the crime, now you're doing the time. Like, what do you think this is?
Like, and he was expecting what, to just be quiet and sleep in his room?
Yeah, like exactly. Everyone to honor his like quiet time and his sleep, his beauty sleep, and to get him his meals as soon as possible, just exactly how he wants them.
And because remember, we were talking about that in the one stream where, or maybe it wasn't us, but remember when he like went to restaurants and was like all picky about whether they use the same pots to cook stuff because
that was his aunt.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. Like, he's gonna have a real hard time in jail.
No, and the other thing is, so when he was being held for the hearings before he was transferred here, he was, everyone there was presumed innocent until proven guilty. So they did treat him actually probably a lot nicer where he was being held before. But now you've been found guilty, and now you're in the maximum security prison, like in the most like shut down prison in Idaho. Like, this is what it is. This is like why you don't commit crimes. That's why you don't kill people. Like, this is what you get.
Grant says he thinks it's boarding school. Exactly. He couldn't put it better, Grant. Yes. I was thinking about like recess elementary, but yeah, he thinks it's boarding school. That's exactly, like, he's going to have his own little room with his little neat bed. It's going to be quiet hours. Like, these prisoners don't know no quiet hours. They're going to be yelling all day and all night. All of that is fun to the inmates. They don't have a lot to do, and so it's fun for them.
It is this. It's like
now they see him squirming.
It's a group activity. It's a way for all these like segregated people to bond. They have like one guy, and they know, and yeah, it is pretty funny. And they're all taking shifts, and they're gonna say whatever, and it's not breaking any rules. They can do whatever they want. You're in jail.
Yeah.
You're in prison. And then Khaleesi asked up here, she said, do they have access to commissary? Yeah, that's what his J-Pay thing is. So, yeah, he will have access to commissary. And for all the, like, the creepy people out there who, like, the pro burgers or whatever who put money on it, that's all public info. So they should think twice before doing that. Because everyone's going to be
money does, Grand says, and yes, his commissary money does go to pay his victims' family. So 75% of what is put on there goes towards
well, that's good to know.
the victims' families, because that's when I was like, how is he going to pay them all out? And it's like, yeah, it's through commissary money. They take every time somebody puts in there, they take some of it to go to the victims' fund. Christina says, I'm happy about that. Yeah. So we're going to play this quick clip for my favorite. If y'all aren't following Brian Entin Investigates, he just got a YouTube. Head over there and support him, because I love me some Brian Entin.
Yeah, I think he's great. And also, like, this is just a random side note about him that I love. Did you see when he stood up to Josh Shapiro for the Ellen Greenberg?
Yes.
Like, no,
he's the whole reason why it got like whatever. Like, he's the one who went and got the paramedic. He got the exclusive.
No, but like, it was during a press conference. Josh Shapiro had been guarded. That he has never once been like questioned about Ellen Greenberg in any like press conference setting ever. They've banned like Gavin Fish, like anyone who talks about her is like not allowed in. But Brian Entin was in. It was like something right after the presidential thing where he didn't get nominated, and Brian asked the question, and oh my God, it sent Shapiro into this like spiral of lies. And
that clip is so crazy.
It's so crazy. So I just love him. But anyways, these are two forensic experts that I guess the FBI, reached out to them to consult when they went through the forensic for the phone, for 214's phone and his like laptop and, his hard drive. And cause there was like certain gaps cause he turned off his phone at certain times, and he kept trying to like wipe his phone, but there was a lot of things they could still find and connect the dots. So,
Bobby's correcting us real quick. It's only 20% goes to the restitution. Thank you, Bobby. As it's Bible, like it's 75%. Well, it should be 75 because that's 4 kids. That's 4 families.
Yeah, I know. Right? So 20% per. It should be per family. So it'd be 2, 4. So 80% should go.
Yeah, we have Entin's YouTube channel linked above, Dr. J. Oh wait, are you on the other stream? No,
it doesn't matter. It's the same chat. Here, I'll do it. I'll get it real quick.
Yeah. If you can get it over there to hers. I don't know if she can see the full chat on over there.
Oh, but I have to be. Do I have to be a? Oh, I can do it on mine.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna put it.
Okay, so we're gonna play this quick clip. But yeah, I love Brian Entin because he's the one who got justice for Ellen and got the case reopened and everything. Like, he did not take no for an answer, and he was there with the parents. He was the only media that was like being loud about it at the time. So kudos to Brian. We're gonna play it. It starts up.
And that his phone was at 100% battery power, and that it was a manual power down. So that's a big thing. If your battery dies, it doesn't mean you went out and committed a murder. But the fact that you turned off Wi-Fi, manually turned off your phone was charged at 100%, that you never turn off your phone every single day. I shouldn't say never. It's not normal behavior for Brian Kohberger to turn off his phone. He had done it a few times, but it's not like, Brian, if you every single day, your best practice is before bed, you turn off your phone and you turn it on every morning. We would be able to look at your pattern and say, this is normal for Brian. This is not normal. For Brian Kohberger, turning off his device like that and disabling Wi-Fi before the murders was 100% abnormal and a huge red flag.
Yeah, that would make sense if he didn't normally do that. So when his phone powered back on, what did you notice from that point?
So one thing to remember in this case is the time to evidence really matters with digital evidence. And so from the time the crime was committed until he was identified, arrested, and then his device was extracted, it was like 45 days or somewhere around that range. And so as we talk to you right now, my phone is rich with data that is right now, but it can't keep everything forever. And so the more time that passes, the less rich the data is. So some things naturally were purging over time. By the time he was arrested and the phone acquired, some of the stuff was already gone. So immediately when the phone powers back on, that's sort of where the FBI, their CAS team would pick up with cell records to say, all right, now his device is hitting this tower in this area, but the device itself wasn't super busy with files that were changing that we can see now. It was just sort of benign nothingness. until around 6 in the morning.
And what did you notice around 6 in the morning?
Sure. That's when, and I'm sure you've heard this, but he saved his parents in his device as mother and father. And he also called them that. So he would call mother. If mother didn't answer, he would call father. And then he would call mother, call father, and then start texting them saying, mother, why is father not answering? Or father, where is mother? So it was constant back and forth. He ended up speaking with mother for over 3 hours the day of the murder, from about 6:13 or 6:31 in the morning through 5:54 p.m.
So was it one whole 3-hour call, or was it chunks?
The longest one was about an hour and a half. And then there was a 54-minute call and then smaller chunks. But he could have a 54-minute call, a few minutes would pass, and then another 9-minute call with mother again.
Yeah.
I gotta pause it right there because oh dang, I don't know if I can get back to it. Is it giving Gabby Petito's parents right there?
Wait, go to the you mix.
Hold up.
I think you're on the wrong slide.
Sorry, I switched slides. My bad. I tried
Yeah.
to pause it, but it was giving Gabby Petito's parents.
No.
Right there,
Okay,
like,
I was gonna say it was giving me Stefan Stern's parents because he's like always talking to his mom and dad, but he's more like, I feel like Stefan was more like mommy, daddy, but this is like mother, father.
no, but remember when Brian Laundrie called his mom, and then they had all those phone calls, and people think that was him telling her, like, confessing to the crime or whatever, like, you need to get your butt back home or whatever. I
Yeah.
don't know, it's giving.
Oh, that like he told them. Yeah, I mean, probably. Honestly, there is something really weird about this family. Like he talked to his parents all the time, texted them all the time. I mean, he was a lot to handle, and like he was so high maintenance. Like literally, if his mom didn't answer his phone, he's asking his dad where his mom is, and it's not like a one-time thing. It's not like it was an emergency or something. It's just like when he wants their attention, he wants it right now, and then he wants to know why you're not giving to him. And they like, just keep like enabling this behavior. It's so strange.
Telling her, because it's just like so many like little tiny calls.
And that his phone was at 100%.
Question, we'll get
Oh,
there.
it was already there.
Or 3. If your battery dies,
Hold on.
And so from the time
or that's when, and I'm sure you've heard this, but he saved a minute call with mother again.
Yeah, when you keep referring to her as mother, it just sounds so weird. Like, I mean, I guess people do that, but I just call my, mom, dad for my parents. And like the fact that he would refer to each other as mother and father, I don't know. I guess that just strikes me as kind of strange.
Brian, I've been doing this 23 years. I have never seen anything like that in my life. Also, I create test data all the time. At Celebrate, we do CTFs. I create labs for SANS Institute where we train people how to work cases like this. And he had 16 contacts. If I ever gave you a data set with 16 contacts, I would expect you to call me out and be like, what's wrong with this? This person isn't talking to anyone. So stuff like that is also really odd.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense with what we know about him, not really having very many friends and sort of seemed like kind of a reject at Washington State University. Was he, I mean, it sounds like he talked to his mom and dad a lot. Were there anyone else that he would call, like that you could see regularly?
Not consistently. There were a few calls here and there, like in the months before the crimes, but especially like around the time of the crime and forward, it was almost exclusively communication with his parents.
Did he talk to them every day?
Yes. Like a lot.
Morning and night, as early as 5 a.m. his time.
Every single day, pretty much?
He talked to them every day from what we can see.
Interesting. And I mean, I think I know the answer to this question, but there's no way to know what they were talking about, right? Based on the data that you guys can get from the phone?
No,
and that's, I think, one of the tricky pieces is, for some of the evidence that we don't have because time passed, we do have these call logs. And the one call was 54 minutes leading up until 9 a.m. the day of the murders. And when we said that, someone else correlated it to, well, he was reportedly back at the crime scene around that time.
Yeah, that's
and we didn't know that because we, weren't focused on that piece of the investigation. We weren't aware. But the words that were being spoken would probably speak volumes to everyone as to what was he saying to her as he was sorry, what was he saying to her as he was doing that? Like as he's driving back towards this crime scene, what were the words? And we just.
Do you think he called his mom to tell her he dropped the sheath, and his mom told him to go back and find it?
Well, no. Okay, so what Bricado thinks that he was saying is that, like, you know, he used his mom to kind of like reset, you know, like, because he had this adrenaline, but then he also started to get anxious. Yeah, because he dropped the sheath. So that's probably exactly why he called. I don't know if he confessed or if he was like needing his mom to like help him reset, because it sounds like he was very needy of his parents, you know, regardless. It sounds like even before the murders, like he was talking to them for hours. So, and constantly, you know, every day. So I don't know.
Okay, so should we go on to the next one? Was there more
Yeah.
on here that you
No,
wanted?
that was, I just thought it was like a good, you know.
Did y'all see Brian's face? His facial expression, he was like, what? Like, he couldn't fathom it.
Well, and I just think that, like, because if, you know, I know that you weren't following Maddie Soto really anymore because you don't do kids, but all the phone calls were like released.
Yeah, I did hear that was before I left the Steven Stern, because honestly, I was knee deep in Steven Stern's when Blake Lively hit. That was when all the Steven Stern stuff was like at its height. I was in Madeline Soto true crime, and then Blake Lively hit, and I was like, oh yay, I don't got to do a true crime now. Like, this is better for me than to be in that. But I did hear the calls with his parents.
So when you hear the calls, you know, because he does kind of like admit, you know, or he like kind of admitted it, but he said it was like Jen, and like it was just, it was so weird. But I do see I feel like we're gonna get calls. Obviously, this guy is gonna have calls with his parents, and they're gonna be recorded, and they're gonna come out, and just be prepared. I think it's gonna be like that. Dr. J said something cool. She said the mother and father titles are 2 and 4. It's his way of attempts to create a more intellectual facade. It's pathetic. Yeah, and I wonder if do you think like he always called them?
There's a theory that, and that's the little. Remember, I told you I was working on that little mini series. I was tying it to Norman Bates, because the Celebrite lady gave an interview saying that it was like very like his relationship with his mother, and like how they text and how often he communicated with her was giving like Norman Bates vibes. And she said that in an interview. So I was like, ooh, what?
Yeah, you know, no, I said the same thing, because like, I mean, I watched what was it, the Bates Hotel? What was the show called with well, anyways, I watched that show, and it did give me those same vibes. The way he's
Bates
like,
Hotel?
Mother. Was it just called Bates Hotel? Yeah. So he's like, mother, and like it just very. But
little did I know that Blake stuff would be wilder than Steven Stern's. Nah, the Steven Stern stuff started to get real sick to your stomach. Like it started to get real bad, and especially when there was like 4 or 5 people in that house that like had not, like, I don't know if the roommates had knowledge. That's, you know.
I don't think they. I don't
know.
I think the mom.
I think the little girl was in there in that room.
I think the mom did for sure. I think so.
But there was a lot of people in the parents. His parents kind of knew too that like she only had that little room, like she didn't have her own room, and then he was sleeping in the same bed. It got crazy there for a second. But yeah, totally Bates Motel vibes, she says.
Yeah.
Jen belongs in prison. She sure does. If y'all ever get a chance to see the interviews with her when they go in there.
Do you want to know what's crazy about that one too? Is like there was that tip line you can call, and the guy who saw Stephen Stearns pulled over called that tip line, and they were like, okay, well, you can like, you know, that's not enough information. So if you can go back there and like find the exact spot and then call back, and they kept making this guy who was just trying to call to give the tip, and he was right, but they made him do so much work. And then he like went back and went to the spot and took a picture, and they're like, okay, well, you need to go like report that to the local police. And then he went to like the local police, and they're like, oh, we're doing training here today. You need to actually go to this station. I mean, they made this guy who like, did you hear this whole story?
Yeah.
I had a whole side quest on it, but it was just crazy. I mean,
Steven Stearns is another guy who's he pled guilty too, right when the trial was gonna go.
Yeah.
And he unalived his I guess daughter. It wasn't really his daughter, they weren't married, but his girlfriend's daughter basically unalived her after he had done some crazy things with her. So
and he acts like this. He acts like 2 and 4 with his parents. Like he's like, oh, mom, I didn't get enough candies. You didn't send me enough of the this kinds of candy. I can have this kind. And I mean,
I don't
just
understand how parents can support, like, God forbid that I would ever be in a situation like that. But I'm just saying, I don't understand how the parents can support and call to the jails. Like, I feel like I'd be a parent if I had a kid. I mean, God forbid, like I said, that would ever do that. But I feel like I'd be the parent who'd like disown the kid. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like once you're a parent, you can't do that. You'd have to be there for your kid. But because they just keep all normal. Same thing with Donna Adelson and Charlie Adelson. She was just like, hey, like, it's like, okay, he was just complicit in murdering somebody.
and then Dr. J, another good question. She said, has 214 officially been diagnosed? And that's like CJ's Roman Empire, because they're not going to share that one. They're just so picky about what they'll share with us. And so they're not going to share his.
Yeah, that's my Roman Empire when they don't share. They said that right when the plea deal went through, they came out and they're like, we will not share any medical diagnosis. And then what was the thing that, what's his name in the interview room? Not Chris, but it was the other guy. What was his name?
Gary Mercado?
No, not Gary. It was the guy that does the cold case or whatever. Remember, he was
Billy Little. Or
Billy Little. Yeah, Billy Little was the one who said that they do like a whole intake of like information, and that in there it's not like it's separate than the physical exam and the mental exam. This is like a background of like how he grew up and all this stuff. So it's like a whole file to like kind of like go into his psyche.
Because when you're on death row,
and they're not getting, you need it to.
Or sorry, death penalty case. Yeah, you have to get the whole mitigating factors.
Well,
so they
says that's still your child. Okay, well maybe I just maybe.
But yeah, they do a whole like mitigation report for any death penalty case to try to like, just anything they could find. So they do like a whole extensive everything that's ever happened in his background as a kid, and even like, someone like tripped him at school or he was put on timeout. I mean, everything's in there. And this one, they're not sharing. It's under seal,
and his medical is under seal too.
Yeah.
And so this is the kind of stuff that he was searching on his phone. Allegedly, Ted Bundy, non-consensual P-word, corn, in the weeks before and after he did it. It was words such as forced, passed out, drugged, or sleeping. And so this is Chris from the interview room's Roman Empire, because he says, how could these cops go on record and press conferences and interviews and say that it wasn't SA related, that it was just him wanting to, delete these people? Like, no, literally forced, passed out, drugged. We believe, at least, I don't know, me and DFJ, that he got caught as he was trying to, do something by Kaylee.
Yeah.
And that's why Kaylee was so badly beat up.
And that's their theory for how the sheath got left there, because they think he like had unbuckled his belt and the sheath like fell off the belt, and then he got distracted and interrupted. And so that's what kind of like he got in a frenzy and then just like, killed everyone, left the sheath, didn't even remember, and then flew out of there. And then one of the roommates saw him, whatever. And the rest is history.
Yeah. So this is the search warrant there to the right of everything they got. It was, his Dropbox photographs.
Well, and even the search warrant, they redacted these are the public files, and they redacted that whole part. We think was more of like the essay stuff, and even like he tried to delete so much stuff off his phone, but doesn't delete everything. Like what your auto searches, a lot of those things still saved, so they could just put in any letter, and then things would come up of things that he has searched. It was really interesting.
Yeah, that's how they got those keywords.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we're getting to the body cam as we wrap up here. So I'm going to play a little bit of this body cam. This is 50 minutes long, y'all. It's on Long Crimes Network. It is pretty intense. It literally gives a play-by-play from the moment that the cop is driving there. Let me play it. Go ahead.
Can we also tell him, so just like random things just to notice, if you want to notice anything, like notice that she's not wearing shoes. Okay. This is outside in
November 11th, I believe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. November 13th in Idaho. And they have no shoes on. And yeah, you can go ahead.
So I'm just gonna play a little bit of like
Kaylee went upstairs and she screamed because someone from the room she ran downstairs.
Okay, why does it keep going back when I pause it? Because I want to be able to pause it. Sorry about that, y'all. Hold on. Maybe I need to pause it on the screen when I pause it up here.
Pretty much they were in the name of my cricket dancing and laughing. Kaylee,
So he says right there, this is weird to me, is first she says they were all laughing and dancing in the main room, and then Kaylee went upstairs.
went upstairs and she screamed because someone was in the room and she ran downstairs. And I kept calling her name and she wouldn't answer. And then I saw the guy. I just locked the door and then I ran downstairs. We don't know what.
And so at first I kind of thought that maybe she was in the room with them and then she went in her room, but I think she's telling the story so fast, because now that I'm watching it for like the 5th time, I'm thinking, is she just telling the story so fast? Because then she's like, and then I ran downstairs, as if it all happened simultaneously.
Well, you know what I think?
She didn't run downstairs until way later.
CJ, I think because she says, like, you can hear everything. I think that's how she knew, like, she could hear maybe Kaylee.
Yeah,
but it wasn't Kaylee.
Like, why is she telling the story this way? But I think she's just trying to tell it so fast. She didn't lock her door and then run down the stairs. She locked her door, stayed there for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I think, and then ran down the stairs. She didn't run down the stairs till like 4:36, I believe.
Just come here. There's 2. Looks like fatalities.
I heard her scream and she ran downstairs because she saw someone. That's what I'm pretty sure she said. Someone's here, and she screamed and just ran downstairs. And I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask that was just covering his forehead and his mouth.
Well, get in town. We've got a quadruple homicide.
So that was kind of like the gist of it, but I'm going to play a couple little bit more pieces here. Yeah, that's intense. So
I think honestly, CJ, I think because there's a different part where she says, he does say, he's like, did you see something? And she's like, no, you can hear everything. And I told CJ this before the stream, but like I lived in a sorority in college, and it was actually kind of built like this house, but a lot bigger, a lot bigger, fancier, but it had like a basement level where people lived. Then there was the main level with, the dining room and whatever, and kitchen. And then above that, there was like, 2 more levels of where people stayed. And so you could hear a lot. Like you could hear, even if you're like in your room. And like she said, she jumped up, she locked her door because she heard Kaylee or someone scream and say someone's here. And like she could hear it through the walls, but yeah, just keep going. And she could hear the dog barking. She kept saying she could hear the dog barking.
So I just wanted to point out, like, it literally starts, like, it's intense. It literally starts from this officer, and I believe this is Officer Nunez's body cam. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is Officer Nunez's body cam. And he's just driving. He's listening to country music here. He's just driving along, and then he goes to the back of his vehicle to get the defibrillator, because if you guys remember in the 911 call, they needed the defibrillator. They thought she was just passed out. And so
like an unconscious person or something.
I know we were trying to wrap up by 7 because interview room's coming, but I really wanted to play this part because remember, you guys, he's only 22, this officer. Like, this is, I feel like this is important to see the officer side, because I know for me, I was really harsh on the police work and the police officers. And then once I learned he was so young and, inexperienced and stuff, like, and then I saw this, like, it gave me a whole other perspective.
Well, and you also have to remember.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to, most of the calls that they do is this is a college town. It's like drunk, parties, noise. I mean, it's not murder.
He had a murder in how many years?
It was like 7 years or something.
Yeah.
So like he was a teenager.
Where's she at?
He's thinking he's there for a high girl.
Where's she at?
And then look, wait, is she wearing, this girl's wearing shoes. Okay, Dylan's not wearing shoes, and
she's standing on the other side.
Bethany is also not wearing shoes because they end up giving blankets for them to stand on. But I'm like, if you knew that somebody was coming,
it was just very bizarre.
Wouldn't you put your shoes on? But I guess that's just like you're in shock. But I even thought, like, why couldn't the cops just grab him some shoes or something? But
yeah,
with no shoes.
Yes.
So this is Hunter.
Where at?
Not his brother, but the guy who came to check on things.
And I checked this user's rear, and I didn't check him yet, but I'm 13.
And a lot of this is redacted and blacked out so that like you don't see anything.
And it's like, because he thought it was an unconscious person, because I'm like, you know, people who like do murder cases are probably like screaming right now that like all of the, you know, none of this is blocked off yet. And, you know, all these people have been in and out of this house and that guy's going back in. And
yeah.
Because they have no idea at this point that it's.
So this is where they're about to clear the house because they just think like, okay, they've seen someone passed out and at least he knows that the Xana and Ethan are basically unalive. But at this point, they don't know if the suspect is in here. They have to clear the house. So this is them clearing the house right here. Everyone. The guns are gone.
Please start it. We're on third floor. Going up.
So they go to the left here. Kaylee's room. This is Kaylee's room. And by that time, the other couple has gone up another one. This is Inmate going over there. With the head. And they keep a lot because they're just clearing this police at this point.
We're clear.
So they clear the house. He goes back out to tell the paramedics who are just pulling up. And it's all redacted, so we don't know what he tells them. But basically, he probably tells them.
And you have to think, like, because they're not going to go in there. Like, and so everyone's outside the house. They don't know that everyone's, you know, gone. Like, that's what's so crazy. But they have to start, like, thinking that because they're not going to go, you know, they're not going in there yet, right?
Yeah, no, I think that at this point they realize that something happened to their friends because.
Oh, yeah, thank you. No, you're good. Hang in there, brother.
They're like, yeah, they told the paramedics.
The paramedics never went up there. There's no ambulance.
They tell you anything? They watch us
a lot of people said that it was kind of like bad police work because when after they figured out the bodies or whatever, this guy Hunter, who was the boy who came over to help them, their neighbor, he's still asking like what's going on, and they're like, you just need to get out the house, and then he tells them all, y'all go over and stand by the dumpster, which I was like, that's bad police work in my opinion, where it's like you don't want them like all together because, you know, at this point they don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that there's anything nefarious with everybody, but at that point as a police officer, you don't know. You're supposed to keep everybody separated, and especially the two girls who were in there and the guy Hunter. Because
you can see
and touch the knife and stuff, and he told them like, hey, I got a knife, it's right there on the table. At that point, good police or detective work, even though he's innocent, he didn't do anything. It was just for self-defense and protection. Sorry about that. Let me turn my phone down. I just felt like, yeah. And then they just left them over here. Eventually they do get him some blankets to stand on, but it's the middle of winter. Everyone's wearing shorts and, you know, no shoes. Cause everybody came out of their apartments. Like, what's going on?
And she has no shoes. Well, no, I don't think other people who came seemed, I mean.
Bethany has no shoes either. Because I remember they gave two of the girls blankets.
A blanket to stand on, but those are the two that are in the house, I'm like, why wouldn't you put shoes on when you came out? Like, whatever. But I think.
The kid who's got the socks and the flip-flops, like, give it the flip-flops.
No, well, I think so. They called her. That was, the Hunter, who they called, because they were scared. And he's a poor guy. He's probably traumatized for life. I mean, he's the one who
went in there. Who saw him. But you know what? I realize why he didn't know that all that was blood, because there was also like spilled drinks with like some red juice on the table. So he probably thought that was just like candle wax, or it could have been like, you know, that punch.
And the way she was laying down, you know.
So this is where they start. This is her first testimony real quick. And I know we're going to head over to the interview room, but I just want to play a couple more pieces.
Real fast. Which one was your room?
Kaylee.
Which one is your room?
Oh.
What room are you in?
I called for her name, but I jumped up and locked my door because I was so scared. And then I heard someone in the bathroom, and I heard her crying, and I heard some guy say that you're going to be okay, I'm going to help you. And I kept calling her name, but she wasn't answering. And then I opened the door for a second, and I saw this guy, and he was not insanely tall, but he was wearing all black and like this mask, which is covering his forehead and his mouth. And I locked the door, and I called, and I didn't know what to do.
This is at 4
a.m., yes.
Okay.
And so then I just ran down to
You left here?
I left my room down to she's that one with the white blinds at the very bottom. I ran down there and we talked, and we just locked the door. We didn't think anything of it. We're like, nothing happens in Moscow, so we just like tried to go to bed. And then we woke up, and
But this is where the inconsistencies and why the people are like, talking about this stuff, because she tells the police officer that they went to bed and slept the whole way. Bethany tells them the same thing. They just went to bed, and it contradicts what was on their phones because they were up all night on their phones.
Well, I think she went into her bed with her, right? Didn't she go into her room and stayed with her the whole night? So maybe they were stayed in their bed the rest of the night or whatever. I mean, you know how I am with this,
Yeah.
CJ. Like, the two things you don't mess with for me is like, you don't mess with Murphy.
No, I'm saying this is why there was ammo for the roommates, was because there was, I'm saying, I mean, not ammo for the roommates, ammo for people outside of looking into this, because like she's in shock, she's saying these things, and then it was inconsistent to what later came out. And it's just her misspeaking or whatever. But just like the same thing in the beginning where she said, she tried to make it seem like it was like, if anybody was listening to it, you would think that was like one thing happened after the other. Like she's like, and then I ran downstairs, but it was like, you didn't run downstairs till way later. But she's just trying to get the story all the way out.
Just trying to get it out. And the way the interview and everything, because it was so, like you said, they definitely could have handled this a little bit better, I think.
Because he's just interviewing her there. I'm like, he should have sat her in the vehicle, like
Sat her down.
Warmed her up. Like she's literally just standing out there in the cold trying to get the story out. And I believe this is where she says the thing about she could hear it.
It was weird because none of our roommates were up.
But she does say she didn't think anything of it, but then she did lock the door. So she was like contradicting. Like she did think there was danger, but then her mind, in the shock of it all, was like, no, you're just overthinking it. There's no danger. And remember, they were both heavily drinking since the afternoon.
Yes. And the cop can tell, like, her story, it is like rushed and just, she's definitely had some trauma there. And at this point, she still doesn't know that they're dead. Yeah, so, I mean, that's even like more, she's probably, I mean, I'm sure her mind's probably trying to block it out, but I'm sure at this point when they sent the paramedics away, it's like, what the hell is going on? So, but he does tell her, like, at the end, he's like, okay, everything that comes back to you, just write it down. You really need to write everything down, because like he knew like her story was kind of like just coming out as much as she could get it out.
And we called all of them. They were not waking up. And so me, like, this is weird. So I called and to come over, and then that's when all this happened.
Who all lives here with you?
Me, that blonde one right there.
Okay. Who's Xana?
Xana is the girl in there.
Is the girl that lives this one?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you spell her name?
Xana.
So he gets all the names, and then
Do you know
this officer comes up and just tells them.
Real fast.
She's saying
this one around 4. There's a guy, black mask, was in there. She didn't recognize him. She heard girls screaming upstairs. She got scared, locked herself in the room.
So this is
and then the screaming all stopped. She's pretty sure that this masked person went out that back. And right now, I don't know victim information. She knows the other 2 girls are up there. I haven't told her who's deceased or anything like that. They have 4 people.
We're trying to find the part where they have Jack in the back.
In the car. Yeah, right there.
So this is Kaylee's boyfriend, who they did put in the car, which I thought was really strange.
Well, to stay warm.
Just to stay warm. But yeah, I was like, why didn't they put the girls in the car to stay warm? They both had 2 vehicles. Like all the kids were out there. I don't know.
They were definitely not ready for this. Something else cute, when they were asking the name and stuff that I thought was, and then they're like, how old is, Xana, how old is this? And it's just something that like felt, I don't know. It made me feel back in college. She's like, they're over 21. Yeah, she's over 21. Because when you're in college, like all your friends are either like under 21 or over 21.
You don't know the exact age. You're just like, oh yeah, at least I know they're over 21.
Like the ones that can drink and the ones that can't. So that's how she remembered. She's like, I don't know. Yeah, she's over 21. She's over 21. But they can't remember the age.
And that's the thing also that a lot of people were saying her stories were inconsistent or whatever. But it's also because she did fall asleep. There is a moment in time where they do end up falling asleep for a little bit before they get back on their phones. And a lot of people speculate that maybe, you know, some of the stuff she might have like not dreamt up, but like the story of like what she knew for sure happened, and maybe when she like dozed off, like she was, you know, like she wakes up and her friends still aren't answering.
I forgot you.
She's out of it and stuff. So that was another thing that I was like, that could be why the inconsistencies were, but it's because she at one point did fall asleep. And I think in the other interview, she does say like, I would have all these dreams about getting kidnapped. And so I wasn't sure if that's what I saw or if it was just another one of my many dreams.
You're here, man. Do you still want to hang out here?
I just want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So this is her boyfriend.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to disclose right now. We're processing what's going on in the scene. As soon as we know for sure, we can tell you guys what's going on. We absolutely will. I know it sucks to be in the dark with this, but okay. And what's your relationship again?
And that's Jack. That's Kaylee's boyfriend.
Yeah, man. As soon as I know we're able to fill you in on what's going on, we'll let you know. Okay. Like I said, you're welcome to get out at any point. If you want to hang out in here, you can because it's warm. If not,
I wonder if at that point he thought he was in there because they were like putting him in there. Because why is he saying it's only me?
I don't know, but like he's the one who has Murphy now, the dog. But like that was the other thing that stood out to me in this clip was that they took Murphy. We don't have to show it; it's fine. But I just like I couldn't believe that they took this dog is like obviously traumatized and very traumatized. Then they take him out, and then they with a stranger, and then he goes to the pound. I thought it was pretty not cool. Someone here says it sounds like you're victim blaming.
Oh, I have been. Oh, that I'm sounding like I'm victim blaming.
Well, that's what one of the comments says. But CJ knows like I'm always like I don't talk about like
no,
the dog.
not at all. I'm saying that this is what gives fuel to the people who are like the inconsistencies in the stories.
Because the way that all the information came out, like if they had just put everything out there,
all out there, exactly,
then people could see that like they wouldn't had to come up with all these stupid conspiracy theories. Because like, and you know, no one I thought was better than Steve Gonzalez, like Kaylee's dad, who he was one of the first ones to say like, do not blame the roommates. They are victims too. And like, if anyone might be like upset with anyone, you would think maybe he would be upset with them. Cause if they maybe did actually like open the door or something and saw something and maybe, you know, something could have been different, but like not at all.
Too. Yeah. I was like, so into like trying to wrap up that I missed all the comments. So Leanne was just here supporting us. So thank you. They might've found the missing baby. The one the parents said the baby got kidnapped. Wait, what?
You know the Emmanuel kid?
Yeah, they found him?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I mean, I've been watching this.
Okay, but no, I'm not trying to victimizing them. I'm just saying this is where the inconsistencies in the stories were that people are talking about because there is chatter of the inconsistencies and stuff, and I'm just trying to give kind of like, you know, another perspective as to why it could be. She did say that she would have nightmares about somebody coming to kidnap her, like a man in black specifically. So that could be why she wasn't sure if she saw what she really saw when she went down there. Because I know that in the text messages, even Bethany tells her Xana was wearing all black. Like, I don't think you saw that.
And I've said from the beginning that I think it was disservice to everyone, to everyone not to put everything out there because then people did come up with these conspiracy theories like with the roommates. And they went through trauma that day. Everything was, you know, they are the victims here. And so, this was just an interesting body cam if you just wanted to see everything. Should we go to the next one?
Yeah, let's go to the next one. I did want to show the ending of when they told Ethan because he does walk up, but I'm not sure when the thing is coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, we did the body cam. Okay, so here's the teachers. This is the clip. There's two different clips about the teachers, right? This is the first one.
Well, there's this one, but then I put the thing that you sent me but that's not a clip. The next one's not. This one's already, yeah.
And Jeanette, and by the way, feel free to jump in with any questions that come to your mind as we flow through this, because I know that, if there may be things moving in there. So let's go with this idea of, so I only have one report to date so far, and that is this one from ISP, where it talks about an interview that they did with some folks at the universities. And in this particular one, we get down to really the bread and butter down here, where JJ says, and this is where I want to jump off starting here tonight into some of the other personality types that Bryan Kohberger may have been interested in / emanating or personating. JJ, she told her colleagues he is smart enough that in 4 years we will have to give him a PhD. And mark my words, I work with predators. If we give him a PhD, that's the guy that in many years, when he is a professor, we will hear his harassing, stalking, and sexually abusing I thought it would be his students at whatever university he ended at. That is a huge red flag.
You think?
That was obviously put into the environment pretty early in the investigation.
So that was what one of the teachers said, was that he was going to end up being like a serial killer.
Like a predator. They definitely
predator.
thought he was going to be like an SA type predator.
Like that they'd be hearing about it. And so this is the one I was talking about with this small town guy who would just go out and have drinks with this older man here, who ended up being one of the professors that Bryan Kohberger was TAing for. And so in this article, and I'll link the Reddit so you guys can read it closer or whatever. But he basically goes on to say that when he became a student of his, he would purposely try to mock him, not mock him. He would purposely try to bug him by talking to him about random stuff, knowing that he had to get home. It was almost like torture or something. He would go in there right as it was. He would not show up for his TA job basically, and then he would show up at the end of the day and start talking to him about random stuff and not let him go home as a form of torture. And then he called him, as he says, I quickly realized this was a technique where he felt like he was in control of me as long as he was wasting my time. So how sadistic is that? He would just start to talk about stupid, immature things just to waste his time. Then he says that at one point he followed him out to his car and his wife was there, and he'd never seen his wife recoil against someone. And when he went up to the car, she recoiled in the car, because that's how weird he looked.
Yeah, she felt it. I mean, and he is creepy like that, and he thinks he's the smartest one in the room, and and
he would call it his terrier routine, because it was like a terrier yapping at him. And so, then he goes on to describe that when he got the phone call from everybody saying this, your student, your TA guy, because he basically would complain. So when this guy was oh, remember the guy that I used to complain about all the time that was following me and that was super annoying, it ended up being the guy who unalived everybody. But it goes into detail on how the police showed up on the 30th. They went into the basement, and as they were trying to figure out, there's a picture of everybody on this bulletin board, and they were who could be down there? Him and the custodian are looking at the pictures of everybody who's got their offices in the basement. And then right away, they both turned and looked at each other and were oh, it's Kohberger or 214. So this is crazy, because now this is the third teacher that's come out and said that something was off about him. So part of me is just should these people have said more back then? I mean, but there was nothing criminal going on with him, I guess.
He did get removed from his TA position, and he had a whole fit about that. But and part of it was making some of the females uncomfortable, and he yelled at someone, I think, was one of the other things. And so they were like, okay.
Let me move this comment because I didn't come back to the comments. My bad, y'all. I didn't curate comments very well. I got stuck into the body cam and then never came back to the comments. But yeah.
Well, I was going to say he had lost his TA position, and then he was trying to like fight to get it back. And it was like, well, now I'm going to, you know, I need it for like whatever. I guess you get like some sort like the money or like some kind of comment. I don't know. But he was saying all these things why he needed his TA position back. But so they did take action, at least to like discipline action for some of the behaviors. But if there was that many red flags, I mean, there's only so much you can do if you have to like have people report it and do something.
Okay, so it says we removed students for less. I can't believe how much was documented and he was still enrolled. Yeah, that is.
Well, the stuff that was documented, I mean, he did get like, was he? Yeah, he was still enrolled, but he was definitely removed from the TA position. But you actually have to like people report the stuff.
So the last final slide before that is, or the last slide is us sending you. Does anybody have any final thoughts before we head out?
Well,
we're going to send you guys over to the interview room that just started about 15 minutes ago. Y'all can get on 2 times speed and catch up over there because they're going to do a show on the complaints and any other lingering questions, and they're specialists, so they'll be able to talk about it more professionally over there.
Yeah, and they got some of the records like from the school that some of the other people haven't gotten yet because they were like on top of that for sure.
I'm just giving my opinion, and you know, like if it did sound like I was victim blaming, that's not what I meant. I was just like, this is where people were saying that their stories contradict.
Yeah, no, I don't think you were at all. No,
well, I was just trying to explain it. So that's why I was like, if y'all want to go see something a little bit more professional, or I'm just giving my opinion on like what the chatter is, because that's what we're reporting on is what the chatter was, and explaining to y'all why I felt like even in the beginning when she was talking, and this is my 5th listen, I was like, oh, I get it now why everybody thinks it's inconsistent. But what she really is trying to do is just get the story all the way out.
Just get it all out. And I totally, like, that resonates with me because like sometimes like when I say something like, you know, my brain is faster than like how I can speak it, like than my mouth. And so things will get disjointed or I won't finish a thought, you know, so sometimes things come out all twisted if I don't slow down. So I totally feel that. And especially in her situation. And then you're outside with no shoes, and then like it's crazy. And maybe they just thought like, I'm sure they probably were hoping in their mind that like Xana just passed out and that's all it is. And then things kept getting more serious.
How did he not see the blood and blah, blah, blah? You know, like this is the chatter that goes on as it came out. And it wasn't until more pictures came out of the rest of the house where you could see other red stains everywhere else that weren't blood outside of the room, specifically on the ping pong table next to the knife. People were like, oh, that's blood. It was the punch. They would make this, like, I forget what it was called. It's like a mixed punch, like
jungle juice. That's what we called it in college. You just pour everything in the bowl that you have left.
When everyone was like, oh, Ethan, how did Hunter not see all the blood and think like, how did he think she was just passed out? It was like, once you saw other pictures, even of the right side of where the and we didn't show any of that because I didn't want to like show any pictures like that, but next to her dresser, it looked like it was melted candle wax. Like when I saw it, I was like, that could have literally just been like red melted candle wax if you're not super close to it, because by this time it's already morning and everything's already dried up. So I could see why he could like peek in there and not realize that, you know, they were unalived. But Ethan was covered too, I believe.
And I think another thing, like for a final thought, is that's why I wanted to start with those first 2 clips where they were talking about how like just how bad the information has been at getting, you know, just sharing the facts of the case like with the public. It would have just been so helpful. This was one of like the strictest gag orders I've ever seen in any case ever. And it would have just helped. It would have helped everyone, I think. And definitely it would have helped the victims and their families. And just to get all the information so we can all deal with it at one time and see the big picture. Cause it just, we keep getting like little things here and there. And I know CJ and I, we thought like our last stream on 214 was going to be the last stream. And then it was like, cause that was supposed to be the
Hopefully this is the last one. I'm like, I don't want to talk about 214 no more, but it
Yeah.
really did give us perspective on the girls and how it all went down.
Mhm.
I still was talking crap about the police officers, but then I was like, oh, poor Officer Nunez. But you know, there's always like Monday morning quarterbacking that goes on in true crime, and that's just a part of true crime. But because I was like, why did he separate? And then I see more kids coming up the stairs, and I'm like, are they letting more kids over there to that group? But then I have to understand, it's like Moscow, it's a community. They're not gonna not let these kids grieve with each other at this point. They're at one point, you hear Officer Nunez saying, like, I'm trying to listen to two conversations at once, because it was when Ethan's brother Hunter comes up and he starts talking to the other Hunter, the one that saw the bodies and stuff. And it's at the same time that he's interviewing Bethany. And so he's like, oh yeah, hold on. I'm listening to conversations at the same time. So he had his ear out to like what everyone else was saying, like around him and stuff. So I was like, nah, he was like trained. Cause I was like, what, you know, like this isn't police 101. You separate everybody.
Yeah. And I mean, and it just,
but in a city like Moscow and where everybody's family, like they were still letting cars go up there and stuff. Like I was just like, what?
He did stop one car and asked where they were going. But it was definitely a you know, a shocker, and just everything all around, just a tragedy all around. But in the end, they caught the bad guy. Like 214 is apparently getting tortured with people like yelling things at him. I mean,
oh, no worries, Ranch. No worries. Ranch is saying, I'm sorry, you explained it well. Yeah, I probably was like not clarifying, so no worries about it.
Yeah, that's why I love like with streaming with CJ, because she gets it. Like we're a good balance, and you know
I'm like, I know not to mess with them or Murphy, because Jay goes at me, but because there was a point where I was like, you think 214 befriended Murphy? And she's like, no way. Murphy would never go up to
yeah, we're very
that theory's gone. That theory's
we're
gone.
very protective like of the victims. But CJ, you know, she's the voice of the people, and she does her sleuthing. And
I mean, well, Reddit was hyped up with it. Even the subreddit that's normally not pro-burgered, there were people asking questions, and then there was people like, you know, that were answering those questions by saying like, y'all, because I had forgotten about the and that's why all this stuff needs to be released at the same time. I had forgotten about the fact that she had bad dreams about like somebody grabbing her, kidnapping her. That was in one of like the very first drops that got put into evidence in one of her interviews. So then somebody pointed that out, and then it's like, okay, well now I can see why she wouldn't think anything of it, because if she had dreams like that and she had been drinking, she might have thought like, did I imagine that? Like, did that actually happen? Am I overreacting? And when people are like, oh, why didn't they call the police or whatever? It's like, what if it was nothing and then they called the police and then the police showed up and their roommates were mad or something?
Else earlier on in the stream, and I feel so bad, I forget, it was Gron said something like that, where was it taboo for them to have called the police because, you know, they're a party house, maybe they didn't know exactly what was going on. So if they had called the police, like, would it, you know, it was just, they didn't know what to do, and everyone was traumatized. But at least now, you know, at the end of the day, the bad guy was caught. Okay, we got 214, and he is having the time of his life on. By the way, I looked it up during the stream, CJ. He is on J2.
Chad Daybell?
No.
Brian.
214 is on J2. So he was
why did the thing say J1? Was it J2?
Maybe it looked like it too, or someone wrote something wrong. But I literally looked it up right now, and he's on J2. So she's gonna go back and look. Yeah, we'll figure that out. But I do think if we do another one on 214, we'll probably have the phone. I bet we're gonna get phone calls with his parents soon, and those will be really interesting. Mother and father and
I thought, you're right. Maybe it was his oh yeah, no, it is J2. Look, on J2, I think it was his dang chicken scratch handwriting.
Yeah, J Block up there. Maybe that's what you got it. So he is the one. That's why I told you he's so into himself. He's the high profile person on J2.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's our show. Let's meet up over on the interview room. These are the victims. This is who, you know, really matters and who we should really be talking about. I'll link it at the bottom if you guys want to go and check out their sites. And I know that, it's not like fundraising every time, but I do like to point out, there's Ethan Smiles, you have the Maddie K Foundation. And I believe that's for all three girls, right? That foundation is for all three of them. I think it's like K&M Foundation. It's one of them that's for all three of them, and then Ethan Smile.
And as Olivia says, do something kind. Stand up. Yeah, do something like fun and
stand up to bullies.
Stand up to bullies for Kaylee. Do something
spontaneous for Xana. What was Maddie's was kind, right? Do something kind.
Do something kind, do something spontaneous, stand up to bullies, and that's how you
smile like Ethan. Go out
smile and like Ethan, and that's how you just keep.
Or I always say go give someone flowers, because they got the tulip stuff or whatever. Give someone flowers over from the Ethan Smile Foundation. You could buy seeds for I think it's $6 or something.
Well, basically, just to keep them all alive, and
yeah, it really sucks for them, and so I honestly hope that 214 doesn't have it that easy, because it is jail. And that was one of the things the Gonzalez family was worried about, was that he was going to be in there breezing through. And, they don't have to worry about that, because
they don't have to worry about that. He's already filed a bunch of complaints, and now he's going to get it even worse.
I remember Steve Gonzalez was he's going to be on vacation, chilling, with his iPad. And no.
Well, that's what he thinks, but he's not getting his things immediately, and he's not getting sleep. And this is going to be a very interesting wake-up call. So that's our 2 and 4.
All right, y'all, have a great night, and we'll see you over at the interview room. Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate y'all's support.
Thank you to the mods. Thank you to the mods.
Like and the subscribe if you haven't, and go over to DFJ's channel. If you're on my channel, go over to DFJ's and subscribe over there.
Thank you, Laura and Christina, because they also ended up being mods of mine. Thank you.
They were doing double duty. Yay! Thank you.
Well, I had no one on mine, but they were just, they're awesome.
But Dr. J was over on yours. Dr. J was over there, and I think Joy was over there, and Kenny was on her computer and on her phone.
Oh my God, that's so nice.
The little link over here, so you can tell who's on yours and who's on this one. It's got a little streamer link.
Well, anyways, thanks to the awesome mods, because they're just awesome.
Yeah, awesome mods. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. We are going to be covering celebrity house horrors in the morning. And so we're going to be covering the Katy Perry. She's going to court on Tuesday, or she's getting deposed on Tuesday and going to trial on Thursday for damages. She's already won. Basically, they ruled in her favor. And so now it's just the damages, and we'll get into that, as well as some other cases with what's going on with celebrities and realty. And obviously Blake, because we don't know what's going to come.
Oh, yeah, we have to do the Blake. And I had these videos, but my Van Sham video got taken down. That was the whole reason why CJ was letting me dual stream, so I can try to get my channel, a little bit, get it some traction, so I won't get another strike or whatever. But thank you so much. Everyone's so sweet. Everyone was on both. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. That's so nice.
Let's try and get her to 500 followers, because that's when you can live stream, right, on your own. Is that
that'd be so cool. Yeah.
So we'll keep featuring her as guests on some of our shows. Crime Chatter, I don't know when we're going to be back. I know that we were doing it Monday through Friday. Right now it's tentatively Sunday nights, one night a week, because it's hard to keep up with 2 shows at the same time. So we might see you guys for Donna Adelson wrap up next Sunday. And we'll see you guys in the morning. Appreciate y'all. Take care.
Bye.